Around the world, people were saying, is New Zealand still free?
They're trying to block Chantal's media with tear gas.
Let us get down!
Facebook has shut down the account of anti-mandate social media influencer Chantal Baker.
Look, here we are. They're running in.
Known for her live updates of the Parliament occupation.
Baker's promotion of 2 Australian commentators expected to attend another Parliament protest may have led to her ban.
New Zealand police would like to stop the 2 from entering New Zealand.
When they blocked you, when they illegally tried to keep you out of the country, I thought, that's becoming a bit of a police state.
It's been a long year trying to get into this country just to cover a protest. In the middle of the night, we received an email that the venue in Wellington has pulled our event.
Just bullshit, man. We shouldn't be caving to cancel culture.
It's demoralizing, it's dispiriting when you hear just hours before an event that some anonymous violent thugs have threatened the venue and they've canceled on you. Who threatens a church?
The old positive Uber driver here dropping off some people to the airport. Have a great day, amazing day. And yeah, stay positive. Peace.
Amen. Thank you. What are you doing?
I'm surviving. We are down here in Auckland and there's an amazing event on tonight. I'm joined by the incredible Avi Yemeni and Ezra Levant, the big boss, the head of Rebel News Worldwide.
It's really exciting to be in New Zealand, and you know, they tried to keep Avi out, and I don't blame him, because he's going to end the media monopoly here. That's why they kept him out. Avi is pound for pound our most effective rebel. He's a one-man army, and he's really changed the narrative in Australia.
You're saying I'm not accredited media.
That's your accredited media pass.
But I'm so delighted to meet citizen journalists like yourself.
And that's why I feel disappointed for our country, because I think everyone should be allowed to communicate. Even if you've got different perspectives, different point of views, you shouldn't be scared to talk to each other. And the fact that the government and the media have created a situation where we've got people that are too scared to have a conversation. Avi, what are you excited for the most when it comes to launching the book tonight?
Well, to be in the place that they didn't want me to be in. The establishment, the media, the government worked together to stop it from happening. And I'm excited to see all the people that went through what they went through COVID here in Auckland. Now I'm going to make it my mission that just like in Melbourne, we need people to highlight what's happening, because I think that New Zealand is where everything happens first. You're ahead of time on every level. And I think if New Zealand falls, we're all going to fall.
All of our checks and balances failed, except the citizen journalist.
Chantal, I actually followed you right throughout Wellington.
See how there's a big line of cops, and then what they do is they drive in. 2 of these cops will start pushing people, separate. This whole line will drive in, grab someone's legs, and pull them out.
You let people see with their own eyes what the other media refused to simply show.
Not one protester is fighting the police, not one of
The
them.
media approached ordinary citizens with a rage and a skepticism and a criticism that they did not show to the mighty big government or big pharma. Through the citizen journalist, we could learn that we actually were not alone.
They're shooting rubber bullets!
My whole life, there's been a law-abiding person.
And they're just firing these pellets into the crowd. They started spraying everyone indiscriminately.
And even at the start of the pandemic, I tried to do my best for the community and sacrifice my business. I did all of those things. But when they went too far, I had to make my stand, and that was by doing that work that I was doing on the streets of Melbourne.
But this is poetic justice, I think, being here at Destiny with Avi, because the way that we met, Destiny and Brian, they organised a protest back at Parliament.
A number of roads have been closed around Parliament in preparation for around 1,000 anti-government protesters on their way to the capital. Once at Parliament, they'll put government through the People's Court with, quote, charges of crimes against humanity. The Prime Minister told media she doesn't plan to engage with protesters.
How concerned is the government that people might come from overseas to join these protests?
Again, for us, it's not about where people have come from. It's simply whether they're willing to engage in peaceful and lawful protest.
Avi had rung me and he had said,
I'm bringing Rakshan and we're coming to the protest. I was stoked, I was really excited. So I posted up on Instagram or Facebook saying, oh, I can't wait to meet Avi and interview him once he gets to New Zealand. This is when I met the lovely Rakshan.
I have made it to New Zealand.
And I was meant to meet Avi.
To be banned from boarding my flight.
That was my mistake. I didn't quite realise how much the Herald really didn't want Avi to get into the country.
2 days before we were scheduled to leave, the New Zealand Herald published an article ironically titled Australian Conspiracy Commentators to Attend Event.
The Herald took that one tiny sentence that I posted, they wrote an article about it, listing reasons of why the government should ban Avi from entering the country.
Ironically, because it turns out they were conspiring with police to smear both myself and Rakshan in a joint effort to have us banned.
What I find interesting from that whole story is the same New Zealand Herald that keeps telling us Chantel is not a reliable source. Suddenly, she was so reliable that her rumour was enough to run a hit piece on me demanding the government ban.
So next minute, Avi wasn't at the
I
protest.
was told on the phone by the New Zealand immigration agent Sarah she had read an article online and is exercising her power to refuse me entry on character grounds. 24 hours after the New Zealand Herald launched their campaign to have us banned, Interpol New Zealand sent an internal email on their private server to their Aussie colleagues, urgently seek any information regarding criminal convictions, information tending to show they are individuals of bad character or far right.
You don't have to deal with people calling me a white supremacist and a Nazi. Like a white supremacist or a Nazi.
Police do not hold any information on the two subjects. Both subjects are associated to NZ social media commentator Chantel Baker and are expected to join her at the protest.
It's about free speech, and what it seems to me is that they've picked on this as an excuse to deny a journalist they don't like, cheered on by the media of all things, to stop you covering a protest they don't want to occur.
And the thing I love about New Zealand is your freedom of information is so quick to respond that it was easy to see in black and white that everything they told the media and everything the media had published as to why I was banned was completely false. The real reason for banning me was not some conviction that they knew didn't meet the threshold. It was my propensity to incite people with opposing views. Holy crap, I wear that with a badge of honor. That is exactly what I do, and that's what you should do in an open, free, democratic state.
It was actually, in a word, really inspiring.
To see people tell the truth, to actually hear truth.
There's nothing as strong as people working together, and I think that stands no matter where you are in the world.
Ezra's been a wild 12 hours after a massively successful event here in Auckland. In the middle of the night, we received an email that the venue in Wellington has pulled our event.
And what happened last night when these gangs, these thuggish left-wing activists started threatening violence and the venue caved, you know what that is? That's a working definition of terrorism, the threat of violence to get a political result. And the fact that the police are fine with this suggests that maybe that's how it goes in New Zealand. And they threatened a church. Hey, what would Jacinda Ardern and her Echo Party, what would they say if they threatened a mosque? Well, we know what they would do. All the police would be on the streets. It was a threat against the church, and the government and the police have said nothing. This is a very serious moment, not just for you, but for New Zealand. Which way does this country go? Does it allow gangs to set the agenda, or does it allow freedom of speech? So I think there's a bit of a problem here in New Zealand. And I'm not putting it all on Jacinda Ardern, but I think she really accelerated the move of this country towards authoritarianism, towards censorship, towards lockdowns, and frankly, an uneven application of the law.
And we just got sprayed by a police officer with a virus and shit. You tell me what part of New Zealand you want to be part of, because this is not the one I want to be a part of.